With Mrs. Groves and Flora gone, the governess focuses on her impending confrontation with Miles. She senses that the maids and men at Bly are staring at her and reacts by parading around to appear remarkably firm. Her marching around the house doesn't seem to affect Miles. From a maid, the governess learns that Miles had breakfasted with Flora before Flora's departure. The governess braces herself for a fight against nature, which will require only another turn of the screw of ordinary human virtue. The governess dines with Miles, who asks about his sister's illness. The governess reassures him that Flora will soon get well. He prods further, asking if Flora's aversion to Bly occurred all at once. The conversation continues, with the governess proclaiming that Flora was not too ill to travel. Their meal is brief. When it is done and the waiter gone, Miles exclaims that they are alone. The governess demurs that they are not totally alone, and Miles agrees that there are the others. Miles turns to the window. Turning back around, Miles expresses his happiness that Bly agrees with him. The governess asks if he has enjoyed his day of freedom. Miles turns the question on her, asking if she has enjoyed it. He says that, if they stay on at Bly together, she will be more alone than he. The governess says she misses his company. It is the only reason she has stayed on. Miles's expression turns grave. The two skirt around the issue of what the governess wants to know. She says now is the time and place, and she asks if he wants to go out again. He assents, saying he will tell her everything, but not now. First he needs to see Luke. The governess consents and requests that before he goes, Miles tell her whether he took her letter. In the middle of this conversation, the governess is suddenly distracted by Peter Quint looking in through the window. She springs up and draws Miles close, his back to the window. Miles confesses that he took the letter. Moaning with joy, the governess embraces him and notes the quickness of his pulse. Miles says he wanted to know what the letter said about him but found it said nothing and burned it. The governess asks if he had stolen letters at school. Surprised, Miles asks if she had known that he couldn't go back to school. The governess claims to know everything. Denying the charge, Miles says he said things to boys he liked. The governess presses the issue. Miles shifts, and she springs forward upon him, pressing him against her. Miles asks if she is here. The governess says the coward horror is here. Miles searches in the direction of the governess's gaze and names Peter Quinn, crying out, "Why, o devil!" and asking where. The governess yells at the ghost and points him out. Miles's heart stops.